And welcome back. Thank you for staying with Sunday Live. Joining me now is Sports and Culture Cabinet Secretary Hassan Wario. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You know, we have so much ground to cover, and I feel a little sorry for you, actually, because you have such a massive docket. And that has a lot of challenges. So how about we start with the sports first, and then we'll get to cultural issues.
Super.
And with sports specifically, I want to start with the disappointing doping reports. And we saw yourself go with a team of officers to basically crack down on some suspects. But the feeling is that since this was first reported about 2.5 years ago, that it took the ministry a lot of time to actually recognize that this is a problem in athletics and respond to it. Why is that?
I can't speak for the people who were there before me. But I think when we came in 2013, I think we came in 2013 May, by November, I had constituted a team to go and look into it. And it's true because by the time I came in, there was a whole pile-up of issues to do with anti-doping, doping issues. And Kenya being a signatory of anti-doping internationally, I felt it was important that we had a desk, we had people dealing with this seriously. And the end result is the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, which we set up as per the conclusions and suggestions by the report which was done.
How badly has this tarnished our image internationally, do you think?
We are the second most doped country, second to Russia.
That's horrible.
So that's terrible. We are where Jamaica used to be before.
What is it going to take to fix it?
It's going to take sustained efforts. It's going to take fully instituting Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya into a body which runs itself, which has its own budget and so on and so forth. We've started the journey. We are, in fact, this December there will be a big conference between us and CHINADA, which is China Anti-Doping Agency, and the Anti-Doping Agency of Norway, who are our partners. We were given them by World Anti-Doping Agency to babysit our Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya. So we have a circle of meetings, and the next meeting is in Mombasa.
All right, and is criminalizing it part of the process? We've had the MP Wesley Korir talk about it, and that it's time to put in place legislation on the same. Do you agree? There
are many ways of dealing with doping. And again, the report suggested many ways of doing it. One, we have to control these substances. Some of them you can just walk into a chemist and get them. So controlling these substances, and we've been talking to Pharmacy and Poisons Board about that, is critical.
And that's through a legal framework.
That's through a legal framework. Second, and very, very important, is awareness. So that the athlete knows what to avoid, which substance to avoid. I think there was a boxer who ended up being banned because he chewed Mira and went to box. Mira is an amphetamine, and it's one of the substances which are banned. So awareness, creating awareness, I think, is at the top of World Anti-Doping Agency's area of intervention. More than that is get the guys who are doing this. I think there are doctors who are known, there are chemists that are known, to have moved away from their medical practice or their pharmaceutical practice to aiding this vice. And then I think as athletes, just be responsible. Know that whatever you take into your system will have prolonged effects eventually.
Right.
Okay. And
as far as the ones who were arrested about 3 weeks ago, what's the progress with those investigations?
For now, the investigations are done by anti-doping, by Athletics Kenya.
I imagine you're watching it closely.
We're watching it closely, but what we want to do is to take that responsibility away from them. We want to set up properly Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, which will have that legislative power, will have powers to follow up this to its conclusion. So.
Right, let's move on to football matters, and it's a complete nightmare. I want to start in as far as the 2013 Sports Act is concerned, and it required the registration of various entities. Has FKF registered so far?
They have not. They picked the forms in February, but they have not returned the forms.
And you've given them more time. I think I've read about 2 or 3 extensions.
They were given by the court. Yeah? But what we're looking at is this. Football is a mass sport. It's the most loved sport in Kenya. And we're saying, okay, if the court gave you until, I think, the end of this month.
Right.
If you don't register by that time, the law of this country, I did not make Sports Act 2013, because it was made before we came into office. You made it. The stakeholders passed it. That law will come into cause and into action. And into action means you will not be there as a body. You will not be there as a body that is going to deal with football. if you're not careful.
But they're recognized by FIFA, and some say that that is exactly the problem, that because the government cannot really be seen to be interfering with, you know, football activities in the country, that really your hands are tied, and FKF can, quite frankly, ignore you as they did just a week ago, snubbing a meeting that you called.
No, I think they snubbed the meeting of stakeholders, so they snubbed their own people.
Invited by yourself?
Yes, but it's ironical. How do you refuse to come to a meeting which is actually beneficial to you, where you are being appraised? People are saying the things which you should have done, where the loose ends are, how you can tighten it. Just an open meeting for stakeholders. I didn't see any people with 2 heads or 3 heads there. It was just a normal people's meeting. And that shows you the deficiency within the FKF itself. But having said that, I don't think FIFA will refuse to allow, which was passed by FKF and the others themselves. And that is what is called Sports Act 2013. We did not invent it ourselves. It was passed by them, by all the stakeholders who were involved. So, and the law of the country is important. People must abide by the law of the country. Whatever international laws that come in must be in tandem with the laws of the country.
You're saying you're willing to crack the whip. We have FKF elections coming up soon. Should they decide not to register with yourself, I mean, are you still going to, are these elections something that you will be paying attention to? Are they going to be legal in as far as the ministry is concerned?
We have written to FIFA on the same issues, some grounds, okay, about the elections. We have reservations from the meeting we had with the stakeholders. And one of the parting shots from the stakeholders was write to FIFA outlining these concerns. And this, you know, people across the spectrum of football in this country. But if you don't follow the Sports Act, you'll be illegal. Not only football, whoever is not going to follow it. And we've said that many times. This is the law of the country. If you don't abide by the law of the country, you can go somewhere else and practice your football or your whatever.
All right, let's take a look at rugby. It's also facing similar challenges, specifically a power struggle, and there was a tribunal that was formed to arbitrate in a case between Sasha Mutai and Gabriel Ouko, both who came, you know, into office on the back of allegations of corruption within KRU. Where are we in as far as arbitration of the dispute of who should be in charge is concerned?
I don't deal with arbitration. It's a very independent body.
The tribunal. What do you know of it?
The tribunal is one of the bodies we set up, and again it was one of the 5 bodies which were outlined to be set up in the Sports Act. So I'm very happy to report today that we've set up all the 5 organs, including the registrar, the Kenyan Academy of Sports, and so on and so forth. So I don't interfere with the workings of the tribunal. But let me say this to the people in charge of rugby: get your act together. Okay? You're doing so much damage to yourselves and to the sport. Like the Safari Sevens this year, nobody attended just because of the negativity around rugby. So the stadium, they held it at Kasarani, was, you know, visibly empty. And that's a shame on the people who are quarreling. What is important here are the players. What is important here is the team. Focus on the team. Forget your politics. Once you are in that office, it's a responsibility you've been given. It's an honor you've been given by those sportsmen and women. And then what about the young talents out there who want to come up?
You know, you're saying all the right things on television, but I suppose your critics would argue that if anyone was to get his house in order, it would start at your door, CS, that you haven't been firm enough, you haven't cracked the whip. We've seen FKF just run on with its wrangle throughout your tenure. We haven't seen any firm action really being done to support football in the country, so that it should start with you.
Not true. I think you're reading the wrong newspaper. Not true.
The wrong newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. Look, this is the most successful time we have had in sport in this country.
How do you measure that success?
We are number 1 in the world now.
In what?
In athletics. And
I think we've been that for a while.
We have never been.
Really?
In 52 years.
We haven't performed better than...
We have never beaten the US to be number 1 in the world.
What about football?
Start there. Focus on your strength. Volleyball. We've done very well. Okay? In fact, our Team B lifted the All-Africa Games volleyball title, which we never lifted since 1999. And the Team B was trained by ourselves at the Kenya Academy of Sports. So these were very young people who were brought in from different parts of this country, were trained by us, they go and beat the world. Okay? So it's how you look at the glass. Is your glass half full or half empty? And the thing with Kenya is this.
Yours is probably spilling over.
Mine is half full.
Okay.
Yeah? Mine is half full. and I'm very optimistic. The thing in Kenya is this. We love football so much that if football is not properly fixed,
nothing else is working.
People don't think the other things are working. The other things are working. We've come to football. We've spoken to the stakeholders. Okay? There's a lot of noise there. You either become a noisemaker or you become an organizer. And we want to organize people in a systematic way, and we're going to deal with these issues that we've set to deal with as we discussed with the stakeholders in Kasarani.
All right, I want us to wind up with sports very shortly, but first, you know, the Jubilee Manifesto talked about 5 stadia, etc. We're yet to see them. Where are we in terms of that?
They were rolled out last week. We had a press briefing on where we are with the stadia. We have done all the designs for 3 stadia. We're saying we're starting with 3. In
Nairobi, Mombasa, and Eldoret.
And the capacity is 40 for Nairobi, 20 for Eldoret and Mombasa, with flexibility to expand. So it will be inbuilt so that you can expand if you want 30 or 40,000 as the population grows and as, you know, spectators grow.
The reasoning of that, specifically the one in Eldoret, has also been questioned, because why would you put up a stadia there yet you can't use it for competition because of the high altitude?
You can use it for football as well. There are other sports within it. It's not only athletics. But also you also need a good ground for exercise anyway. In Eldoret for athletics and so on and so on.
All right.
Which we don't have at the moment. But around that, we're building other facilities, and that is the important part of it. Accommodation for people who come to train at high altitude. We're going to build a cycling lane and other things in the future. We'll have different sports in there. Okay. So it's all about improving sport in these different regions of Kenya. All
right. I want us to shift focus now to the Mashujaa Day celebrations. Tell us, is there anything different we can expect this year than the usual pomp and color, if you like, that's typical of Mashujaa Day?
Pomp and color is... You don't like pomp and color? Pomp and color is beautiful.
Anything more? I mean, we're all used to the bands, we're all used to the marching and all of that. Anything different?
I can't speak for that because the National Day belongs to His Excellency the President. But I think pomp and color is good, and thank you for saying
that.
Band. Yeah.
Same band,
I don't
same
think same
song.
Band. Look clearly, it won't be the same band. But anyway, for me, I think the highlight is you saw the monument we opened for the Mau Mau through the reparations they had through the British. I think that was inspiring. It means that a given sector of our Shujaas are being finally they're settling their scores, as it were, with colonialism. The big thing which needs to happen, which we really working very hard as the Ministry to operationalize, is the Heroes Act, Kenya Heroes Act 2014.
Yeah, and the Kenya National Heroes Council has not been able to receive funding from Parliament. What's going on?
We put it as a proposal several times. We've never been funded. But I'm getting indications that we will be able to get money now. What that portends is a lot, very important. Because what we've been doing up to now for Heroes has been ad hoc. It's been a lot of hit and miss. But the Heroes Council will organize all matters to do with heroes, from recognizing who is a hero or a heroine, to taking care of them in old age, giving them proper medical care, to commemorating them, to setting up monuments and so on and so forth in the future.
Who is a hero, a Kenyan hero or heroine?
As per the definition of the Act, I think, is anybody with all the good characters. One, integrity, selflessness, bravery, probably somebody who gives more than they take or ask for, all that, yeah? And I think some of those character traits come from also traditions. You know, traditionally people had abilities to foresee things, like Koitalera Arab Semoy, or the Okoyot, or the medicine man, and so on and so forth, would have been heroes, or a great warrior like Luanda Magere among the Luo would have been a hero. So I think it's the character of sacrifice, selflessness, integrity, and, you know, standing up for people and for your country.
You know, when you read the dailies and the headlines, the feeling is this country does need a hero, and that the political class have failed, and that we sort of have to rise to the occasion ourselves as citizens and you know, save ourselves, if you like. In what ways can the Kenyan watching this show at home be heroic for the country, for themselves?
You know, a hero or a heroine is, they're leaders, they're not followers. Keep leading. Probably will follow your path. cut new pathways, keep your integrity, okay? Show us the new light, and we'll follow you.
Keep your integrity, CS.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're taking a short break on Sunday Live. We're back with more news after this.